Hello and welcome to a brand new series on Unsourced Wall where I'm going to be trying to do weekly episode reviews and reactions. And because of the Chucky / Child's Play TV series that's coming out, I thought that would be a perfect test run to do it. Now, I've always been a fan of the Child's Play series. It's probably one of the first horror franchises I ever saw. Either that or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, or maybe even Hellraiser. I did not have people watching over the media I was consuming, and all for the better. Now, there are entries in the franchise that I think are lesser than, namely Child's Play 3 and the recent Cult of Chucky in the mainline series, because I know now with the reboot there are two Child's Play timelines, and the TV show is meant to be a continuation of Don Mancini's direct-to-video releases. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Cult of Chucky. I think that it was meandering over the top in all the worst ways, and honestly it was dull, and it ruined a lot of what was great about his previous effort, Curse of Chucky, which felt like it was bringing the series back to its roots. It was very stripped down. It was very back to basics, but it was back to basics in some of the best ways possible. And Cult of Chucky was just a bunch of nonsense, and it ruined a lot of what that set up, or so I thought at the time. It does seem like it's trying to explore and expand upon things that Cult set up itself, and you know what? I'm willing to see what it's able to bring to the table, and a lot of those trailers did seem really fascinating. So let's sit right in and see what we thought about the Chucky TV show, episode 1, which I believe is titled Death by Misadventure. And isn't that fun? Honestly, it's pretty good. Now, I was going to give it a lot of leeway given that it is this transition from a film series to television, which can always be a little janky. But this actually managed to capture both a fairly rich cinematic feel, but skews a lot more toward the eerie and creepy tone of the original movies, rather than Cult, thankfully. The inclusion of a small-town suburban setting really helps give everything a soft tone that Chucky sticks out in, but in a way that heightens the drama and the suspense. But it's also not averse to getting funny either, with some very decent visual and audio gags alongside the general repertoire of Chucky jokes. Mancini is definitely taking full advantage of having a solid budget this time around, and crafts a confident and unsettling directorial style. There are some shots of Chucky that can be fairly unnerving. The way it focuses on young teens as well makes it feel like a lot like what the remake attempted to do, but didn't actually really exploit the full potential of. There are stock characters like the mean rich popular kids and the bully, but it's not like the Chucky series hasn't ever had a heightened sense of reality anyway. And honestly, I can see why Mancini was a little bit pissed at the remake, because a lot of his ideas seem to have been overlapped with those. And just to get out of the way, I mean, the main character, named Jake Weber, played by actor Zachary Arthur, is one of the highlights. He's got this innocent and friendly performance, but is also very naturally anxious and awkward in his aura too. It's his performance that gives a lot of credence and pathos to his character background as this isolated gay teen with an abusive father. There's lots of shades of Sid Chucky in there, and so it's kind of funny that there's already people up in arms about the character being gay, given how Sid Chucky was a room on a clef about Mancini's own coming out and his own coming of age. So the show looks like something from a passionate place, and that might make all the difference down the line. The main thing I have against the show so far is that it does seem really low on the blood and gore, which makes sense. It's a TV show now, and it's on a standard cable network, so things have to be censored or implied or shown off screen. That said, it does get a tad ridiculous and has a set piece that doesn't actually work that well. Overall though, the show's off to a great start. I know I didn't get too into the plot, but the pilot is a lot of setup. The fact that it's able to include a decent amount of set pieces, horror or otherwise, is pretty impressive nonetheless. And, saving the best for last here, Dorff, as always, shines. There's one scene in particular where he goes off the chain and cements that despite the passage of time and him getting older, no one captures the character more. Overall, 8 out of 10, or 2 thumbs up. Would have been a 9 without a particular scene, so I can't wait for next week to see what they come out with next. Anyway, let me know below what you thought of the series, if you've seen it, if you're excited for the show, and what your hopes are for it. And also like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. See you again next week for more Chucky reviews if this one does well.